in the last stream, we were working on massively upgrading our power generation using this rainbow generator from Extra Utilities Rebirth. This generator here produces 25 million FE per tick if all of the other 16 generators from Extra Utilities are all running at the same time. And so last episode, we managed to get this almost completely automated. There were just two problems. The first is nether stars. We haven't automated those, and so you'll see right now, the generator is not producing 25 million FE per tick because there is no nether star in the nether star generator. The second problem is that we don't have any way to store or use 100 million FE or 25 million FE per tick. And so the first thing that I would like to start working on in today's stream is a big form of energy storage, and I think maybe the best option for large energy storage comes from Draconic Evolution. Draconic Evolution adds giant energy storage balls that can store a massive amount of power. Now, unfortunately, normally you can utilize the information tablet here from Draconic Evolution to visualize the balls, but we don't seem to have the right mods installed to actually use the information tablet. And so we are going to have to resort to using the wiki as a way of figuring out the actual setup for the multi-block structure that is the Draconic Evolution energy balls. So in order to make the energy storage multi-block from Draconic Evolution, which is a giant sphere, we need to first get the energy core, this guy right here. This is fairly straightforward. It does require 2 Wyvern energy controllers and 1 Wyvern core. The Wyvern core requires another star, and we also need some more Draconic cores. How much Draconium do we have? The answer is not very much. We did get 49 Draconium dust from fighting the dragon. Unfortunately, no EMC value on Draconium. So if we want to get more of it, we are just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, and I think we are going to need more of it, if I'm not mistaken here. Thankfully, neither of the Wyvern energy controllers require nether stars, and so if we just craft, I was going to say a few of these, but of course, instantly we run into a lack of gold. That's fine. Let's drop some more in the system and try that again. We'll take a few of these. 4 might be enough. And then do we have what it takes to make 2 controllers? We do. So now it's just the core here. That does require even more of these Draconium cores. We need 4 in total, and yeah, it's just the nether star now. Okay, that is fine. Let me go ahead. And you know what? I'm going to spend like 3 minutes here just getting a couple of nether stars because I think we might need a few more throughout the course of the episode. Of course, part of the plan for today's episode is to get nether stars automated with mystical agriculture, but just for the time being, I'm going to quickly get, you know, maybe 10 nether stars just so we don't have to keep coming back over here every time to make 1 nether star at a time. All right, so 11 nether stars and far too many division sigils later. Let's head back over here. Let's get ourselves 1 of these Wyvern cores. Again, no EMC on any of this, unfortunately. And let's get the energy core. So, the energy core does need to go down somewhere. And I know I mentioned before moving the chest up, but you know what? I might actually put the energy ball up here above the center of our island. That does probably mean I'm going to have to tear down our record-breaking sugarcane here. But I think that's a price that I'm willing to pay. So let us go ahead. And I'm going to grab some cobblestone real quick, just because it's easier to work with. We're going to try and place this energy core down approximately where the center of the ball is going to be. The ball is going to be pretty big. There are multiple tiers of the multi-block, I should stress. Oh, no, this doesn't have a center. Interesting. Okay. In that case, what I might do then is I might build it potentially like in one of these quadrants here, maybe right over here. So let's go and let's put the core down right about here. I don't think we're going to have enough space here. I think it's going to be way too cramped. But let's have a look. If we right click on this, we can then activate the building guide. And if we click active, okay, so I picked it up. Unfortunately, the visualization doesn't work. Normally you can place it down and then click visualize and it works just fine. Also, the reason I picked it up here is that we are going to need more space than we have here. So what I think we'll do is we'll probably get rid of this bit of the bridge, and I think I'm just going to build it kind of in here. So I believe that the orb itself is an 11 by 11 in total, and so let's go ahead and kind of build it out this way a little bit. I think we'll go like 1 higher, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then we do need to have space as well, because the along with the core, we need a bunch of blocks to go around it. The blocks that you go around it are going to make a sphere that's 11 by 11 in size. And then on top of that, we also need to put down some energy core stabilizers that are nearby as well. And so we need a lot of space to make this happen. We could, if we wanted to, there's only, like, there's no center to this platform. It's 4 wide here. We could build 2 of them if we wanted to. That's a little insane, potentially. But let me grab some more dark oak out of here, because then we can build this a bit further out, like that. And I think what we'll do is we'll probably make these a lot bigger, basically, is what I'm thinking. Like, if we get rid of this here, and then if we also get rid of this here, and then get rid of all of the slabs after this point, up until now, our platforms have been like 13 by 13 wide. If we instead make these just a lot bigger, that gives us space to put the energy core. Okay, so I've built a much larger platform here. This is 23 by 23, so substantially bigger than the previous one. And this is the center here. And also, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11, this is the center here. So I'm going to build a little bit of cobblestone here just to find the actual center of this platform. And then we'll place down the energy core right about here. So there are 8 different tiers of energy storage multi-block, starting at tier 1 and going all the way up to tier 8. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have what it takes to make the tier 1 energy orb. It just doesn't hold that much in terms of power. To get it online, we just need, I think, 4 energy core stabilizers. So let me make 4 more draconic cores. Thankfully, we had just enough draconium to make that happen. And then to upgrade those, it's just redstone and blaze. Let's take 4 of those. And then we should be able to craft 4 energy core stabilizers. We totally can. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I put this a few blocks away from our energy core here, let's say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. If we put an energy core stabilizer here, 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 and here, and if I break all of the cobblestone, I think now in here I can click activate. And look at that, we have a very small energy core. So this is the general idea of the multi-block. This one right here, if we open it up, can store 45 million FE, which is a fair amount. It's a lot considering how much we can make with our solar panels, but given that our rainbow generator can make that in 2 ticks, which is like 1/10 of a second, it's probably not going to be big enough. And so we want to make this bigger. To make this bigger, we can go ahead and click deactivate, and we can go up to a higher tier. Like I said before, there are 8 tiers. The 8th tier is the best, and I think can actually store an infinite amount of energy, but it requires awakened draconium, which we don't currently have access to. And so I think we should be able to get, if I'm not mistaken, a tier 7 multi-block. To do that, we mostly just need a ton of redstone and a ton of draconium. The draconium, of course, being the bit that is difficult. So if we want to get a ton of draconium, we kind of just have to farm it, which shouldn't be too difficult. We do have a lot of draconium seeds, and by a lot, I mean we've got 14 draconium seeds, but we probably can get more fairly quickly. The question then, I guess, is whether or not we want to upgrade to higher tier power pots, and I think the answer is almost certainly yes. And at this point, we do actually have what it takes to get like the 9 million FE for a Mark II power pot. Let me grab, again, some of the dark matter that we're producing here, and let's dump all of that into here. I'm also going to dump the EMC links we have as well. That's 250 million EMC that we have. And so if we were to take a tier 1 power pot here, and if we were to take just a staggering number of gold blocks and redstone blocks, I think we might have what it takes to make that next tier of power pots. So initially, to make this happen, we need some double compressed redstone. So we first have to compress redstone blocks, and we need at least 9 of them. Then we can craft that into a double compressed redstone block, and then we need 2 of those in order to actually craft the power pot. So we'll take 2 double compressed redstone blocks, easy enough. We then need to do the same with gold. We need at least 9 compressed gold blocks, and then we can craft that into a double compressed gold block, and then we need, I think, 6 of those in order to craft the tier 2 power pot. We can, of course, place that into our transmutation table. I did just hear a creeper down here. Let me go ahead and get rid of that guy. We should also probably just put down a couple of torches over here to prevent this from happening. But now that we have this power pot, let's go ahead and do I have the solar panels in here? We do. Let's take a few of these. I think this uses 1000 RF per tick, which is kind of fine. If I put this down with a solar panel on top of it, we can go and grab some insanium. I think we probably have, yeah, a decent amount of insanium available to us now. And if I were to craft that into some insanium farmland by crafting a regular old dirt with the insanium and with a hoe, that gets us insanium farmland. We can put that in here. And if I put my seed in, this is now going to give us even more drops than we got previously. Of course, I do need to move this all up by one because I need to have some kind of chest beneath it. And so this should produce more essence for us with every craft. It's still not super fast, but it is faster than before. And when it's done, I think we're going to get half a stack of Draconium. Although, I think, to be fair, once again, our best bet here is probably just going to be to do some manual crafting, which is not what I want to be doing, but that only got us 4 Draconium. Whereas if I go and plant more seeds here, and by the way, you don't actually get more essence you don't get more Draconium essence from having Insanium soil. That only works with inferium, unfortunately. And so having this on inferium farmland is just the same as having it on Insanium farmland. And so that got us 16, which is half of what the power pot gets us in a very short period of time. Obviously, if we made a lot of power pots, we could get a lot of essence coming in a lot faster, but we need, in total here, 218 blocks of Draconium, which is 1,962 Draconium ingots, which is quite a lot of essence. So we're getting there, slowly but surely, while farming this Draconium essence here. The Twitch chat has pointed out that we might be able to store more stuff in our backpack by crafting some of these stack upgrades. And so the initial stack upgrade doesn't look too difficult. It's the standard upgrade base with some blocks of iron. Of course, as per usual, we never have anything in the system these days. That is completely fine. We can take 8 blocks of iron out of our transmutation tablet. That gets us the tier 1 version. Then we need 8 blocks of gold. Then we need 8 blocks of diamond. And if we want to go to the highest tier, we would need 8 blocks of netherite. But apparently that's going to allow us to store just a staggering number of seeds inside of our backpack. So if we do this, and then we do, I guess we have to craft these into blocks first. So let's do that, and then craft the diamond upgrade. And then if we do this, and we craft the netherite version, that is an upgrade that we can place into our backpack. And now we could, in theory, store more. Yeah, look at that. So now there's over 1,000 wheat seeds in that one slot, and over 1,000 Draconium essence also in that one slot. So let's dump basically all of this back in here. But now we can kind of just keep farming, and we're not really at risk of running out of space in our backpack. Alright, so a fair bit of Draconium essence crafting later, and I think we now have enough essence in our backpack. We've got over 16,000 essence, which I think is the amount that we actually need to craft all of the Draconium blocks. People are recommending that we get this deposit upgrade. Again, fairly easy to make. We do need a regular Minecraft piston, but hopefully that is everything. It is, and the upgraded version might be worth it here. So the idea with this, if we put it in the backpack, we can then go ahead and allow Draconium essence to be deposited, and the deposit upgrade just says deposits items from backpack into a sneak right-clicked inventory. And so this might crash because we're going to try and move a lot of items very quickly, but I was going to sneak right-click onto the colossal chest. Do I have to take the backpack off and like sneak right-click the backpack onto the chest? Oh, 20 stacks deposited. It totally looked like it worked. Let's check inside of here as soon as we put that back on. Do we have... Yeah, we got almost 20,000 Draconium essence. That worked a lot better than I thought it would. And if we check in here, we probably have it all just clogging up so much of our chest in the middle there. That's a crazy amount of Draconium. But we should now be able to craft just a ton of Draconium ingots with this. And then we can obviously drop all of those right back into the system and then craft even more of these. And then we're going to craft all of those down into blocks of Draconium. And again, we need 218 blocks in total, which I think we have more than there. On top of that, we then need 328 blocks of redstone. Thankfully, redstone blocks real low on the EMC front, and so we can just go ahead and do something like that to get a ton of them. And so now, chat, finally, if we head on back over to here and we right click, actually, first of all, let me go ahead and pick up these energy core stabilizers, which it might be easier if I'm on top to pick it up. And then if we put the stabilizer in my backpack, hopefully the magnet upgrade will get the rest of them here as we break them. All right, once we've got those taken care of, in here, if we right click and we go up to tier 7 and we click assemble core, it should take all of the blocks out of our inventory required to build this, and it should just build the tier 7 core. Normally you can do this manually as well if you want, if you know how to build it, but it is easier if you just have the core build it for you. But it looks like this should be good. It uses a lot of draconium blocks, but we're not too far away here. I do think we are going to need more of these energy core stabilizers because I think you need more than one on each side. But look at that. That is quite something. Now, I'm not quite sure. I am under the impression that you might need like 9 of these per side. Let me make a few more of these here, which is going to require that we craft down some of our draconium. Thankfully, we did get a fair bit of extra draconium. So to make more of these, we mostly just need more draconium cores. And for that, we just need more diamonds, which again is not a problem given the amount of EMC that we have. So I'll take a few stacks of diamonds, drop those in, and we'll craft like a stack of draconium cores just to have ready to go. Again, gold is something we could do with getting even more of. And so we'll drop that back in as well. Let's get a few more of these particle generators. And then, oh, we need more blocks of redstone. Thankfully, we have those on us. And then let's go ahead and get more energy core stabilizers. So if I'm not mistaken, you take 9 of these, and kind of in the same way that we did earlier, we can grab some cobblestone and we can build out a few blocks from the edge of the core. So let's go 1, 2, 3, like that. And then I'm going to put the core down, and then I'm going to try and get rid of the bridge here. And if I'm not mistaken, you put down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that, and it forms into this energy core stabilizing ring. And we need to build one of those on each of the 4 sides of the draconic energy ball here to make this work. There are so many creepers. There's like 0 zombies here, but a staggering number of creepers, which is absolute madness. Okay, so once all of these are down, before we right-clicked on the core in the middle, obviously we don't have access to the core, but now you can right-click on the stabilizers, and you'll know that it's right when it says core valid. We can click activate, and now we have a much larger energy ball, and if we right-click on this one, this can store 2.14 trillion redstone flux, which is very nice indeed. So now the question is getting power into and out of that giant energy storage. So for that, if we go back to @Draconic Evolution, we need some energy pylons. These guys here, I believe we need 2 energy pylons. These don't seem too difficult to make. I will make 2 more draconic cores, and then from there we just need some eyes of ender. I'll make a bunch of those just so we have them for the future, and we'll take the pylons. And then if I'm not mistaken, we just need glass, I think, because I think the way this works is we place down a pylon. Also, let's sleep because I did just hear the phantom, which is not great. But over here, we're going to take our energy pylons, and I am going to build something around the floor here. We're not just going to leave this floating. But for the time being, let's go like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go 5 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put 1 pylon here like that. And then we'll do the same over on this side. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put it here like that. And you put glass on top of both of these, and that glass instantly gets transformed into an orb. Now we can get rid of the cobblestone, and by default, if you get close to the ball here, you can kind of see whether it's going in or out. Right now, it's kind of hard to see, but that particle effect coming off of it is going out. If you just right-click on it, it changes, and now it's going in. And so basically, the idea here, we'll change this one to... Oh, no, we'll leave that one out, and we'll make this one in. Basically, we want to connect our rainbow generator up to this one here. That is going to send power into the orb. So you'll see that there is, in the top left, there a bar for energy. You can put energy into the pylon, and that will get transferred into the ball. And then over here, we're going to pull the energy out of the ball and send it around the base. That is where Flux Networks comes into play. If we go @Flux Networks, this is going to allow us to wirelessly transfer the power all around the base, hopefully in a way that is fairly easy. So we do need some flux dust, which in this pack is incredibly easy to make. I'm very happy to see such a cheap flux dust recipe. Usually, flux dust is a bit of a pain in the backside to make in some packs, but in this pack, nice and easy stuff. Then the flux core is just an eye of ender with obsidian and flux dust. Again, we can go ahead and drop that into the transmutation table, and I will go and grab like a stack of those just to have for future crafts here. And then for the flux plug, we do need to get a flux block, which is easy enough. Done. And we need 4 universal pipes, which do require item pipes, fluid pipes, and energy pipes. Let's make sure, first and foremost, that we take these and we teach our transmutation tablet the pipes for the future. And then the only pipe that we're actually missing to make the universal pipe is the energy pipe, which is actually one of the easiest pipes to make. And so now we should have everything to make the universal pipe, at which point we can teach that to our transmutation tablet. Good stuff. We can then go ahead and craft the flux plug. And the final piece of the puzzle is a flux point, which does require 2 more universal cable. That's not a problem. I'll also teach the flux plug to the transmutation tablet, along with this newly crafted flux point, like so. And the idea here is that we want to put our flux plug onto the device that makes power. In this case, that is our rainbow generator, like this. In here, we want to click Create New Network. By default, it's called GamingOnCaffeine's network. I'll change that to Isaac Power. And then down here, we can pick a password. It doesn't matter what you pick. You don't really need the password. And then we can pick a color. I'll go with yellow. Create. And so now, at the top, we can select a network, scroll down to Isaac Power, and this is now connected to the Isaac Power network. Over by our Draconic ball, we're then going to put down the flux point. I'll put that right about here. And again, now we just click Select Network, click Isaac Power, and what we should see is power being moved from this guy over here, from the flux plug, over and into the energy ball. However, I can't help but notice that power is not being moved out of the rainbow generator. It's quite possible that much like with these other generators over here that couldn't output power to certain sides, it's quite possible that's the case here. Let me first try moving this to the side. If that doesn't work, we might have to get some kind of energy pipe to extract the power from the rainbow generator. Although it's quite possible, it does say 100 million in the top left there, but it's quite possible that we might also have to have the generators running and it might not actually hold anything inside of it. So I think it might be the case that it says it's holding 100 million FE, but I don't know if that's the case. Let's try putting a nether star in again, and that should bring it online. Let's see if that actually produces any power and sends it to the orb. So if I take 1 nether star and put it into here, that's going to bring this online. It's generating power. Here it is sending a 800,000 FE per tick. In here we want to disable limit. That should allow it to send the full amount just as soon as over here we change this to disable limit as well. And now it's moving the full 25 million FE per tick into the energy ball. And so over here, you'll see that already we're at 3 billion, 4 billion, and we're on our way to 5 billion RF of storage. And all we have to do is get another flux plug. Let's get, actually, I guess a flux plug and a flux point. We'll take one of each of those. And this time we're going to put the flux plug on this guy here. We're going to make a new network. We're going to call it GLC Real Power. And this time we'll make it red and click Create just as soon as we type in a very strong password and click Create. And so now this one is going to be GLC Real Power. And this is the power that we're actually going to pull from. So over here, for example, we could get rid of the solar panels and place down our flux point, connect this to GLC Real Power, and it's going to start pulling energy from that energy ball round and into our power pots. And going forward, if we wanted to add more power pots or higher tier power pots or power pots that use more power, we could do that because we now have access to almost 35 billion RF and counting. And again, right now, we don't need that much power. Again, right now, we could probably just not even bother automating the nether star generator because 35 billion or 40 plus billion RF is probably going to be enough for quite a while. But eventually, we are going to need hundreds of millions of RF in order to make some of those dusts like unobtainium and all the modium and vibranium. And so with that in mind, it is probably well worth actually getting higher tier pots and actually automating the nether stars. So let's take this dark matter. Let's go ahead and drop that into our tablet. I do want to automate this as well, actually. But first things first, let's go ahead and let's see if we can't do some upgrading here. Annoyingly, we're a little far away from being able to upgrade to the tier 3 power pot, because the tier 3 power pot requires 600 million EMC, which is quite a bit. But what we can almost certainly do here is replace, at the very least, all of the power pots making netherite with tier 2 power pots, just to make them that bit faster. So if I try and break these, it is going to break all of them. Thankfully, I think if I break this, and if I replace this down, is it automatically linked? It's not. So I'm going to have to relink my power cards, unfortunately. I thought it would kind of remember where the spot was, but unfortunately it doesn't. That's fine. It does look like I want to empty these out first as well, because it looks like these do retain their inventory when you break them. So I'm going to empty basically all of the tier 1 power pots that we have here. I'm going to replace them all with tier 2 power pots, and I might also go ahead and swap out maybe a few of the inferium power pots here with nether star seeds. In fact, right now, I think we only have the one nether star seed, because we've not been able to duplicate it up until now. But I have been told by the Twitch chat, actually we have 2 of them, but I've been told by the Twitch chat that the power pots can actually duplicate nether star seeds. So let's do this, and let's do this, and we'll see if that gets us more seeds. If it does, I might replace a few more of these, because although we do need creative essence going forward, I don't know if we need like a staggering amount of it, and at least not just yet. I think for now, the stack and a half that we have is probably going to do us for quite a while. Towards the end, once we need a lot of creative essence, we are going to need a ton of insanity essence for that, but we're a little ways away from that at this moment in time. And so, yeah, let me quickly go and replace these with tier 2 power pots. All right, so all of these have been upgraded. So now all of these are making twice as much netherite, and all that netherite should be making its way down and around into here. It is indeed, if we wanted to fully automate this, because right now we have to keep coming down here to get this dark matter, which is not ideal. What we can do, though, is we can go ahead and take one of these EMC links, and if we also go ahead and grab a pipe, a regular item pipe here, will do the trick just fine. We could then extract from this energy condenser down into the basic EMC link, and if we set this to extract, we should see our number in the top left there start going up, because now it's going to start pulling all of the dark matter blocks out of the energy condenser and down into the EMC link, which then places it directly into our EMC network. We can obviously also go ahead and drop in the items that we have in our inventory that have an EMC. We're up at 19 million. At this point in time, we're kind of looking to get up to that super high, 600 million plus range, where we could look at getting the next tier of power pots, or alternatively, we could also look at getting even more power pots, of course, to make this even faster. Let's check in here and see if we did manage to get any nether star seeds. We could maybe look at utilizing a method of getting rid of these seeds, because geez, do we have a lot of them. I do see the nether star essence there. I don't currently, though, see any nether star seeds. Let me organize that. There we go. Just so that we can maybe make it a little easier to read. Jeez. Also, it looks like we have a ton of netherite essence. Is our crafter being limited here? It is. So the limitation seems to be the speed at which things are moving. Let me get some more stack upgrades, actually, because we might have a ton of EMC just backed up in here. If I put 6 stack upgrades in here, along with 9 speed upgrades, I think we're going to start to see a big increase in the amount of EMC that we have, because there seems to be a lot of netherite essence. Also, let's put this in fast mode. There we go. This is moving much faster now. How are we doing on power up here? The power is holding steady. I don't know what the max transfer rate of this is. I think it did tell me here, right? Yeah, this can transfer 64,000 FE per router, which I think is fine. That is going to be an issue eventually, because I think each one of these Mark II power pots uses 1,000 redstone flux per tick. And so if we put 64 of these down, right now we've got 32 of them, but if we put 64 of them down, that would be the maximum that this router can handle. And then trying to run that along with these crafters would be us limited on power, which is not ideal. Down here, of course, we can just grab another flux point, and we can kind of take some of the burden off of that router upstairs by just putting a flux point here and connecting this directly to the GLC Real Power setup, and that's going to start to fill up nice and quickly, and it's going to start to produce even more of the dark matter here, and you'll see that we're actually producing it faster than the energy condenser can process it right now, which is pretty nice for us. Let's organize that again. We do still have a ton of seeds here that we could do with either trashing or potentially reprocessing. Annoyingly, no nether star seeds, which is unfortunate. It could just be a very low chance, but that's fine. This is going to slowly but surely produce all the EMC for us. It's just going to take a little bit of time for that to happen. I think I just deleted a lot of EMC. I don't know if that's a bug, but if you middle mouse button, it deletes the dark matter blocks. That is not good. I think I just deleted a stack of dark matter blocks unintentionally. I don't know if that's a visual glitch or if they're actually deleted. So it looks like that was a permanent loss, which is unfortunate, but we have now managed to burn through the backlog of dark matter there. So now this is going and working as intended. What I am going to do, I'm going to get yet another colossal chest interface here. This one right here will do the trick. And we're going to break this chest temporarily. Again, thankfully, so long as you don't break the core, it does retain its inventory. So when we do this, everything is still in here, which is nice. We're then going to once again get another router. And I'm going to place that down in such a way that I can see the front, just because it makes it easier to configure the puller and sender modules. We then want to get another crafter. We'll take this one. And we might as well take a flux point, not a flux plug, to connect that up to power. We'll do something like this. Not like that. I don't want it facing down. I want it facing this way. Fantastic. We can then put the flux plug on there, select GLC Real Power, and then we're going to put another modular router here. And the idea behind this one is that we're going to use this to craft our nether star essence into nether stars, which we're then going to send to the nether star generator. So let's take our puller and sender modules. The puller is going to be set to the left, and the sender is going to be set to the right. The puller is going to be set to whitelist nether star essence, and we're going to put both of those into here. That should pull the nether star essence into here. It does indeed. Might as well take the speed and stack upgrades to make that just a little bit faster. Let's do both of those, like so. And then in here, we're going to set the first recipe to this. We're going to teach the system how to make nether star shards. Apply. I'm then going to go ahead and turn this off for the time being, because I want to make sure that there are slots available always for nether star shards and nether star essence. Obviously, we want a lot more nether star essence than nether star shards, but we'll do this. We'll click remember, and then we can put all these back where they were previously. That's fine. And we want to make sure that this, by the way, is set to results of the crafting operation stay in the input buffer. Apply, because we want the nether star shards to stay in and not go to the output. Because in the second slot here, we're going to do this and teach the system how to craft the nether star shards into nether stars. These do want to go to the output slot. Now we can go ahead and turn this back on, put it to ignored, set it to faced, and then over here, we're going to say, once again, with the puller, pull from the left, and with the sender, send to the right. We could go ahead and whitelist nether stars here. It's not necessary because the puller can only pull from the output slot. It can't pull from the input slot, but if we wanted to, we could go whitelist nether stars and put both of these in here. And then all I'm going to do now is grab 2 ender chests and use those to wirelessly move all of those nether stars around to the nether star generator. Thankfully, these ender chests are fairly easy to make. We do need yet another regular Minecraft chest. And boom. And we are going to want to lock these. And so for that, we're going to want to get some diamonds, because by default, these have a frequency, which is white, white, white. You can dye these, but if I open this up, you'll see that somebody else on the server is already using the white, white, white frequency. If I wanted to be a naughty person, I could take some of this netherite essence, but I won't do that. What they can do is if they right-click the little nose on the front here with a diamond, this is now locked to me. And so you'll see if I open it, despite the fact that it's still the same white, white, white frequency, now it's locked to me, so nobody else on the server can use my version of white, white, white. Chat is right in that I should go ahead and do this to get more of those in the future. And if I now take this downstairs and put it down right about here, that should start receiving nether stars. It does, and I'll put the other ones that I've got in there as well, like that. This is done, I think. Has it pulled all of the nether stars that we had? Yeah, I think it has. We can then take the other ender chest and place that over by our nether star generator. So let's put that, I guess, right here where this EMC link is. And if all is set up correctly, of course, we do want to make sure that this has the little diamond nose as well, like that. And then we'll break this. We'll place it down right about here. and that should start pulling. Oh, we didn't put the puller and the sender upgrades in. That is fine. Let me get the puller and sender modules. Puller and sender. This time we're going to pull from up and we're going to send to down. And that should work perfectly. We'll do this and this. That's going to pull the nether stars from the ender chest and put them in the generator. Nice. And that's going to keep this going. It's now still generating 25 million FE per tick. And over in here, we're up to 57 billion. I think it's just come back online now, so I think it must have stopped earlier at around 50 billion. But now it's going again, and it's just going to keep going probably forever, because I think so long as we have enough EMC in the top left there, all of this should keep going. And I'm pretty sure that our EMC farm over here, like our dark matter production system, is producing more EMC than all of these EMC links are using combined. And so this basically should just keep going forever and keep producing 25 million FE, sending it around to the energy ball, and going forward, whenever we need energy, we can just craft more of the flux points, put them down, and pull power from this ball right here. We do want to make sure we set this to disabled limit. Right now, it doesn't matter because we're not pulling that much, but eventually we might end up pulling more than 800,000 RF per tick, and when we do that, we want to make sure that we can actually make that work. Let's once again check if there are any nether star seeds in here. I don't think that there are. Not that I think it necessarily matters. Again, the nether star generator uses nether stars. Oh, there are 16 of them. Look at that. The nether star generator does use nether stars at a very slow rate, and so I really don't think that we need that many. In fact, I'll put 2 more down here, like this, and then we can kind of keep an eye on it and see if the nether star generator is keeping up. But I have a feeling that even with just those 4, we're probably going to be generating nether stars faster than the nether star generator can use them. Finally, chat here, the last thing I would like to do is sort out this mob problem that's been plaguing us for the majority of the episode here. A few streams back, I did mention the feral flare lantern. This guy right here, this is a super nifty little device in that it places down fake lights all around the lantern itself, which light up the area quite nicely and also mean that we can get rid of these torches. So right now, if we go over here, we do have to be careful because we don't want to put a feral flare lantern too close to the mob farm, because the lantern will place down torch lights inside of the mob farm, which is not what we want. But to show it off, if we come over here, I guess, and we get rid of this torch and we press F7, we can see the yellow lines indicating that mobs can spawn here when it gets dark. And so if I were to go ahead and place down one of these lanterns, let's say underneath the platform right about here, what that will do is that will slowly but surely start putting down invisible lights on the surface here, and that's going to get rid of all of these yellow X's. Obviously, we put it down like right here, so it's put down one where it is, but slowly but surely over time, you'll see it's put one down there, and that's going to go ahead and get rid of those yellow X's, but it basically places down invisible lights all around in like a cubic area around it. So up, down, left, right, it places them all over the place and is going to light up that entire area. And so basically, I'm going to go ahead and just put down a bunch of these kind of around the base to hopefully light things up and allow us to get rid of a few of those torches. We'll do the same on the underside of this as well. We can put some down like here and here and here. We probably don't need quite this many, but they are basically free with the amount of EMC that we have, and so I feel like we might as well put a couple of them down. Again, the only thing that we really have to worry about is making sure that we don't put a feral flare lantern too close to the mob farm, because if it puts an invisible light inside the mob farm, it's going to prevent mobs from spawning, and that's going to stop us from being able to get any more mobs in the future. And as you can see back over here, we still have F7 clicked, but all of the X's are gone, and that's because the lantern has had enough time to place down all of the fake lights, and now we don't need the torches, which is pretty nifty stuff. So between streams, I'm probably going to go ahead and put down a few more feral flare lanterns, making sure not to cover up the mob farm, and next time we'll come back, and there's a few things we can do. Hopefully, it won't take us too long to get up to like 600 million EMC, at which point we can look at the higher tier of power pots. But I think we will probably just start looking at how we're going to move forward into these creative quests here, seeing which ones we can do, seeing what we need, and figuring things out from there. I keep saying it at the end of every episode, but at some point we will get into botania as well, because that is required for one of these creative items, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. We'll come back and we'll see what it is we need, and we'll start working on that from there. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and ramp up this episode of Mystical Block.